What are your thoughts on American imperialism in Syria and Iraq?
My thoughts of Syria and Iraq is the world views the United States as the world police. Anytime there's a dictator or genocide of any people, the world turns to the United States for help. And then they don't want to acknowledge the help that's there and the help that's given, and then they start saying that we're occupied. Syria is a wholly internal war that I don't think we should be part of. But at the other time, on the other side of it, you have the people that say that it's genocides taking place for the people of Syria and the refugees coming out of there.
Yeah.
Iraq's a different story. Iraq, I think, was a hotbed of terrorism under Saddam Hussein. There was immunity given to terrorists that then attacked the United States. And for the United States or any country, is a coalition of countries that went in there to take out Saddam Hussein and break down his regime, to then just turn around and leave creates a vacuum. So I think us being in Iraq and giving them a chance to govern themselves was the right thing to do. Now, there are always going to be minorities or minority groups that simply think that we shouldn't be there, and there's going to be that. We have that on the streets of the United States today, called sovereign citizens that don't want the government in the United States either. So,
Do you think the U.S.'s involvement in Syria and Iraq led to the creation of ISIS?
I think a power vacuum from the war against Al Qaeda created ISIS. The coalition-led war took out a lot of the leaders of Al Qaeda, and a lot of the people in ISIS are actual Al Qaeda members that have just gone to ISIS. It's a name change, different organization. So, in some terms, yes, we targeted the hierarchy of Al Qaeda, and that created a power vacuum that ISIS walked into.
Did you know Puerto Rico is part of the United States because of American imperialism through military force on October 18th, 1898?
No, I did not know that.
Why do you think we had to resort to this imperialism, this American Neo-Imperialism?
Well, I'd have a hard time commenting on that. I didn't know that that's how Puerto Rico became a U.S. protectorate. There are many U.S. protectorates that don't have statehood. I don't know the actual reasons or the story behind Puerto Rico itself.
Okay. The Iraq occupation goes against America's foreign policy since Wilson and leads back to imperialism. Would you classify our occupation of Iraq as imperialism?
No. Again, we tore down a terrorist supporting government. And to go in and tear down the government and turn around and leave is just going to make a massive power vacuum that's going to create more terrorists or more terrorist regimes. So what the American and the coalition forces did, went in and took out the Saddam Hussein regime, and then they tried to instill democracy now and let the people govern themselves and police themselves. There are people over there that don't want that, and those are the ones that actively fight against us. So, the attack on the World Trade Center was an act of war, and that's what we did. We went to war and tore down a regime that supported and funded terrorists. So, the United States has a history of fighting its foes and then helping them rebuild. The fact that Iraq didn't embrace democracy is a problem that Iraq's going to have to figure out. We've been there for about 10 years, 12 years. And we're starting to pull out, and then all the democracies they said that they wanted just fell apart. So it's going to be up to Iraq to figure out how they want to proceed from this time forward.